What up, PC fam? Welcome to this special Saturday episode of Chill with Chill. Happy to see y'all. What's going on, Chill? How you living?
I know Big Ox he get excited about the show, but he particularly digs Saturdays though. I don't know what it is about Saturdays, but Big Ox particularly digs Saturdays, yo. So I'm ready to rock and roll. Definitely.
Yeah, Saturdays just feel a little bit more energetic. I feel like the viewers feel like they come up with a little more energy. Yeah. I don't know, maybe because Wednesday might be hump day. Maybe the guys, maybe they might be a little more wore down from the work week or something. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I'm really digging it. Even though All-Star and All-Star selections have been a little tiresome, a little troublesome for us, but we'll get into that. Chilton, I want to ask real quick, what's the most impressive performance? Not just necessarily scoring performance, but what's the most impressive performance? Who are you most impressed by so far this season? It could be player, coach, GM, anything, just hoop related.
Who am I the most impressed by? Colin Sexton, man. Colin Sexton is getting back to who he was when he was in Cleveland. Don't forget, Colin Sexton, when he was in Cleveland, he represented at that time, I think he represented like 5 or 6 guards that was averaging like 25 a game or more. It wasn't that many that were doing that. And don't get me wrong, he's not much of a passer, but he can pass. But what he's doing in Utah, I think that he's in the conversation for most improved player. He had a stretch. I think he had a six game stretch where he was averaging 22 a game, and then he got back in the starting lineup. He's actually been working out really good for Utah. I've been the most impressed with him, and I'm the happiest for him too, because it was almost like he was sent to Utah to just fade away. I mean, they signed him to an extension, but it was almost like he was sent there to fade away, and he showed that he can rock. He can definitely rock. Everybody's talking about Danny Ainge moving off of Lauri Markkanen, and they're actually trying to do something out there in Utah, and Colin Sexton is a big part of that. So I'm really impressed with what he's doing. I am.
Yeah, I watched the game on playback, Utah versus 76ers. I watched that with J-Rob and Jalen just a few days ago. And even though, as we know, Joel wasn't there, Utah competed. It was a really good game. It was a really good game. They fought hard. Lauri went crazy in that third quarter, I believe it was. And but I like Colin Sexton. I really like Chris Dunn over there. I'm happy to see Chris Dunn still around, still in the NBA, still fighting, playing great defense. Just being a real hooper, if you would. Chris Dunn, who really hooper.
What happened with Chris Dunn, Big Ox? I mean, he was it because was he on a bad team in Chicago and they really didn't know what they were doing with him, and then he basically gets to Utah and they kind of giving him an identity. It's almost like he found a home out there.
Right.
That's what it seems like. It seems like it's almost like he seemed like he found a home out there.
Yeah, it's something like that. I think so. I think they're just letting him play out there in Utah. I'm not sure. I was kind of worried. I didn't think he was going to make it. I didn't think he was going to make it too much longer in the league. But it's good to see that he is. I like that team in Utah. I'm not sure what they need to become not contenders, but to become. I don't think Utah is getting taken serious by the league and by the people that watch, fans, hoopers, anybody. I don't think we're taking Utah serious. So what do you think Utah needs to be taken serious?
An identity, to be honest with you, because is Lauri Markkanen the man? Is he their guy? I mean, he's their all-star, but is he their guy? Colin Sexton, like I said, I've been the most impressed with him, and it's almost like he went there to be forgotten. What's the story in Utah? What kind of identity do you guys have? Who is your lead guard? Who is your best player? It looks like Lauri Markkanen is their guy, and it looks like Colin Sexton could be their lead guard of the future. And I think that they're in need of a third scorer. I think they straight in their rotations because Jordan Clarkson still one of the best rotation players in the league. Kelly O is one of the better vets in the game. I really like him, and the kid Keontae from Baylor. I think he's really good. I do. And this kid Walker Kessler, I think he's definitely going to be one of the better defensive bigs in the game. But with all of this young talent that they have, they don't seem to have an identity. That's the problem. They just kind of seem to just be figuring it out as they go. And it works in some instances. I think as of right now, I think that they're in the if they're not in the play-in tournament, they're literally right outside of it. So if they're not in the play-in tournament, they're literally right outside of it. So I think that they could use themselves. I think they could use themselves a third guy. Because if we building this thing, right? If we building this thing, it sounds like they building this thing through Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and number 3, whoever that is. But that's who their players are right now. It's Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen. And again, they have Walker Kessler, who he plays, right? He plays, but he doesn't play as much as I would like him to play, to be honest with you. I would like him to play a lot more. I'd like to see him get significant minutes. Like the 25, 30 minutes he's getting, I'd like to see that dude. I'd like to see that dude play way more than I do. Way more than I do. And I think he would help them win more if he was used differently. And I think that they got a good coach too.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of running young coaches off if they don't win immediately. So I'm having a difficult time with the logic that, you know, Hardy isn't a good coach. He's got young kids, man, and he's trying to figure it out.
The one thing I will say about Coach Hardy though, and Tank says right here in the chat though, he said Utah doesn't run any plays through Lauri. He just casually be getting 30. I don't think it's that they don't run plays through Lauri. It's more so that a lot of times that offense is extremely stagnant. Like I watched like I said on the playback the other day, and I mean, Chilltown, I've seen maybe 3-4 possessions straight where nobody touched the paint, like not even cutting through the paint, not penetrating to the paint and kicking it out, not collapsing the defense, barely shifting the defense. It's just they're basically playing like 4 out, sometimes 5 out, and they're just dribbling around, like going to, it's a lot of east and west, no north and south. You know what I'm saying?
No action at the rim. No action at the
nothing. Rim. And I hate to see that. I just hate at any level. Obviously, you know, I really most of my experiences, you know, watching high school, college, stuff like that. So I do understand that sometimes I get the mindset of not so much the NBA, where I want to see more of this. And the NBA is a lot of ISO, this and that. I understand I might be a little living in the past with that. I do. But but still, even at times, especially on a team like Utah, where we don't have a wing guard that who's our ISO man. Like I don't really see who they have over there. They got talented guys, Sexton, Clarkson, but I need somebody on the wing that I can get a ball to, and you can just go to work. Then if we're not gonna run any offensive sets, like running any offense, then I need I need a guy on the wing that I could get a ball to, that I'm allowing him to shoot 22 shots, and I know he can go for 35. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see that in Utah.
Right. And when you have something like that, Big Ox, well, you're going to give yourself a chance every night. If you got a guy that I know for a fact that when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, or not even the meat and potatoes of the game, Big Ox, we're going out, we're going throughout the game, and I got a guy who I can go to who can get me 2 or 3 straight buckets, that we can get a rhythm going. And they seem to have Colin Sexton do that sometime. I don't think that they run a lot. They run action for Lauri Markkanen, but the Utah Jazz, they're a very perimeter-oriented team. And with them being a perimeter-oriented team, they get up and down the floor a lot. They get up and down the floor, and they play pretty fast. With all of that being said, when the game slows down, like you just mentioned, when you don't have a lot of action around the basket, that's not that difficult to guard. When you just got 5 dudes on the perimeter, there isn't much spacing when nobody's cutting to the basket. There isn't much spacing when all of these dudes are just standing around, just passing the ball to each other. That's not a recipe for success. That's a recipe for disaster. But to answer your question, Big Ox, I'm definitely the most impressed with Colin Sexton. I've always dug him though.
Okay. Great. Let me get to this super chat real quick. First, let me say shout out to John Collins though. I'm happy John Collins is, you know, doing what he can do in Utah.
Yeah,
I've always liked John Collins.
Yes, he is.
But this super chat is from Libin Gould.
Yep.
How does Chill have Tatum over Kawhi?
Because of what I've seen over the last 3 years. Excuse me, over the last 3 years with his development, how much better he's gotten as a scorer, how much better he's gotten as a defender, how much better he's gotten as a playmaker, his availability. All of that stuff matters. And every year he has improved, becoming an all-pro first team. He's not the defender that Kawhi Leonard is, no question about that. I don't think he's the defender that he is. But the fact that him performing in the postseason, and more importantly, his availability, the fact that he's available more than anybody, more than any of the guys at his position. I think Jason Tatum last year he played 75 games. I think the year before that he played 78 games. The fact that he's available like he is, I think that matters to. I feel like that matters to me more than anything. I'm not going from a talent basis, because I think that Kawhi Leonard, for a lot of people, they watch his game is really vanilla. There's not a lot of Kawhi Leonard does not do a lot of extra crispy stuff. But what he does do, he's ridiculously effective at it. It's one dribble pull-ups, it's two dribble pull-ups, playing in the mid-range, where, I mean, if you ask me, I'm not sure that I could name 10 guys who had a better mid-range in their prime than Kawhi Leonard. So with that being said, Kawhi Leonard is still awesome. I just have seen him slowly decline. His body was breaking down, and I feel like guys like Jason Tatum passed him. He's having a bounce back year this year. But I mean, I don't know how long that's going to last. I will eat my words if Kawhi Leonard plays past this year at this level again, because I feel like I'm not sure he's going to be in the league in 2 years.
Right. Man, Showtime, you have no idea how bad I want the Clippers to win the championship.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up, because there's something that you and me got to talk about.
Yeah, we do. If we're talking about the same thing, we're getting to that right now. I can't go on with this suspense. I need everybody to put some respect on his name. Y'all say, a lot of people say I hate on the guy, but I feel like I'm just keeping it real. That's just what I got to do. But let's talk about Russell Westbrook, Showtime. Let's talk about Russell Westbrook and what he just accomplished. You care to fill the people in that don't know?
Well, Russell Westbrook, they just played Detroit, I think 2 nights ago, and he just surpassed the 25,000 point mark. He's one of 4 active players in the game today. Him, James Harden, KD, and James, that have 25,000 points or more. And
how far is Paul George away from that? Showtime, do you know?
I don't know how far Paul George is. I don't know how far Paul George is away from that, but I know those 4 guys are that. And you and I had a conversation. You and I had a conversation earlier this season, Big Ox, where everybody, including myself, was down on the Clippers. But then I asked the question, what if this thing works out? What if this thing works out and Russ gets to where I think he's going to get? As of right now, Big Ox, Russ is 622 assists away from the 10,000 assist club. He's 622.
How far is it from rebounds?
I think he's about a little over 1,000 or so, 1,000 or so more. But 25,000 points, 10,000 assists. That's only James. That's it. Nobody else is in that club. So don't get me wrong. I can appreciate how a lot of people will talk about averages over totals. But you're talking about a Russ who, I think Russ had a 6-year stretch where he was a double-figure assist guy. He was a double-figure assist guy, averaging double-figure. He led the league in assists, I think, 3 times. He led the league in assists, and that's not total. That's on average. That's on average that he's doing that. Russ has been one of the main reasons why Russ is where he is I think he's been in the league since 2008. He's been in the league in 2024. So he's been in the league 16 years. One of the main reasons why Russ is where he is, Russ plays. Russ plays just about every night. If you go look at Russ's track record, Russ plays just about every night. Nobody is there aren't many guys that are more durable than Russ over the course of this time. And the fact that he took a back seat, which I was wrong about, because I thought that with the situation that he had with the Lakers, playing with the Clippers, and having to go back to the bench, I felt like that was going to wreck him. Only except it didn't. He fit right into that role. And in the process of him fitting into that role, he's been really good for them. Big Ox before last night, and I don't think that he did. I didn't check much of it, but before last night, Big Ox, because I had been watching the Clippers, Russ had a 10-game stretch where he's averaging less than 2 turnovers a game for 10 straight games. So that's a big deal when you got a ball handler like James Harden, who's also over that time averaging less than 2 turnovers a game. So that means that these guys are taking care of the basketball. They're more efficient in their scoring, And Russ is giving them really good minutes off the bench. Really good minutes off the bench. I wasn't a huge Russ fan later in his career, but in the beginning, man, I was on the Russ train. No question about that. I was huge on the Russ train. And with that being said, when KD left him and he started to play at an MVP level, I mean, I started watching him more, but I think this is fantastic, Big Ox. And the question that there's a lot of people there's a lot of people who don't want to have this conversation because if the Clippers end up winning the NBA championship, which don't get me wrong, as of today, I'm out. I'm not in on the Clippers. I'm out. But if this thing actually works and Russ does what I think he's going to do, Big Ox, 622 assists away from 10,000 assists. Just so you know, Big Ox, over the next 2 years, which I think Russ is going to play 2 more years, that's 4 assists a game. That's it. That's 4 assists a game. He's averaging 5 now. He can do that off the bench. There's no reason for me to think that he can't do that. So to be a part of that, I mean, there has to be some different conversations about Russ, especially if they win it, particularly if they win it, man, because Russ has been so good for so long that he really is one of the most underappreciated guys that this league has ever seen.
I can agree with that. I see the 9.4 assists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested in the 8.2 rebounds.
Yes.
8.2 thousand. I need Russ to get, if Russ is gonna do it, I need Russ to do it. I need 25, 10, and 10 from Russ. That's gonna be undeniable. That's gonna be undeniable to where you have to put him in your top 5 point guards.
It'd be especially if they win it.
Oh yeah, if they win one, and mind you,
win it,
and mind you, because I heard I like to always tap into people's playback whenever I can. I tapped into Dub and Mars yesterday, and I love those young fellas, but they disappointed me again when they got to when they got to talking about not paying attention to role players. I was just like, Dub, you have to pay attention to role players. They're so important. Once again, I love the young fellas, though. I'm not, not trying to say anything.
Big Ox, these the dudes you was having a conversation with. These the same dudes that said that rebounding wasn't that important. Don't forget who you're dealing with. Just remember don't forget who you're dealing with. Just remember that one.
But I just think the role players are so important, and if Russ is coming off the bench, 4 assists, you know what I'm saying, 6, 7 rebounds, and I don't know how many points is school. Do you know how many points he's averaging right now?
Averaging about 11 a game. About 11 a game.
If Russ if Russ can do that off the bench and he's gonna bring the energy on the defensive end, I think that's a pivotal part in the championship role. Like your 6th, 7th, 8th man, and then when you get to the Western Conference and the finals and stuff like that, that 9th man, they're so important. We all remember those 08 Boston Celtics. We remember Leon Poe. We remember Tony Allen. Remember those guys off the bench that came and won that championship.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook is so important. And if he does win a championship, he's gonna be a pivotal part in winning that championship. He deserves all the praise for getting that ring. So if he comes with the ring, 25, 10, and 10 Showtime. Can't deny
we don't have a problem saying that. We don't have a problem with Bill Walton coming off the bench with the Boston Celtics. We do not have a problem with him coming off the bench. Same thing with James. If Oklahoma City would have won it in 2012, we wouldn't have said anything about James Harden coming off the bench. We would have praised that. As bad as he played, we would have praised him coming off the bench. So the fact that Russ has now become a rotation player, a damn good one, by the way. I mean, last year when he was with the Lakers, there was a stretch where he was one of the leading candidates for 6th man of the year. One of the leading candidates for 6th man of the year. Yeah, Russ is going to drive you crazy, Big Ox, because he's going to throw the ball in the 3rd row. Yeah, he's going to drive you crazy because he's going to take untimely shots and he's going to shoot the ball over the backboard. But you know what else he's going to do? He's going to show up every night. He's going to play hard every night. He's going to give you that effort every night. There is not one night where you're going to see Russ and you're going to be like, well, he didn't really play hard tonight. No, that's not Russell Westbrook. And if the Clippers were to win it, he's going to be a big reason why. Big reason.
Certainly. Let me see. We got another super chat.
Yep.
from Huncho. Even though your boys call you Luncho. Huncho. Big Ox, I feel like you were a big Antonio Gates fan, both in the NFL and when you hooped at Kent State. Shout out Antonio Gates. And Chilltown, were you a big fan of Julius Peppers?
No, I really wasn't. I was not. I was a fan of Antonio Gonzalez, though. I did like him. Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah, Antonio Gonzalez. Yeah,
I did like Antonio Gonzalez. Yes, I did. And Charlie Ward. Go do your homework on Charlie Ward.
Yeah. That was a good era of tight ends. Antonio, obviously Shannon Sharp, a lot of those guys. Yeah, I got a lot of good tight ends back in those days. What's my guy? Jimmy Graham. My guy. Oh, I'm forgetting Vernon Davis. Love Vernon Davis.
I'll go throw my Vernon Davis jersey on right now, Big Ox. You know, I believe 49 red. Those are my guys. You know what time it is. So, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Definitely. But yeah, Chad, y'all be on the lookout for that in the next couple seasons, man. Russ going for that 25, 10, and 10, man. Y'all be on the lookout for that. Let me see. We got context in the back. What up, Tex?
What up?
You there?
See if we can get him back.
Okay, yeah, I'll come back for you. I'll come back for you.
See if we can get him back. Yeah. See if we can get him back. So
what's up, Chad?
I'm just what I'm thinking about. I want to get back on the Clippers because
let's do that.
The reason why is because I'm thinking to myself, with this unit that they had put together, right? Is it anything else that they need? And then I'm looking at what they already have, and I'm thinking to myself, no, there is nothing else that this crew needs. They don't need another rebounder. They don't need any rotation guys. Norman Powell is one of my favorite players off the bench. Russ is giving them great minutes off the bench, right? Man is giving them great minutes. So they got a great rotation. They have James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard in the starting lineup with a big who, by the way, thrives with Russell Westbrook. He plays really good with James Harden too. But I feel like he's more effective when he's playing with Russ because he knows that Russ is looking for him. He knows that for a fact. James Harden is more of a shoot and score first point guard, and not point guard, but guard. And Russell Westbrook is a scoring guard too, but he's more of a downhill guy. And when Russ goes downhill, Russ is looking for you around the basket. And I think Zubac recognizes that with him, and I think he's more apt to play. I think he's more apt to play and be more effective when he's playing with Russ. Now, with all that being said, this whole thing, Big Ox, is contingent on one dude. And that one dude is the dude who was the finals MVP in 2019, which was 6 years ago, right? It's that one dude. Other than that, we've seen nothing else from the Clippers but injuries and underperformances. This year, some of the people are going to tell me that it seems different. Well, it does seem different. Why? Because Leonard has been healthy so far. Last season in the playoffs, before he got hurt, you could make a legit argument. Kawhi Leonard was looking like he was going to be the best player in the playoffs. He was looking like he was going to be the best player in the playoffs until he broke down. That's the thing that I'm concerned with more than anything with him. Right. Because when he's healthy, he's shown me he could get it done. He's shown me that he can get it done. Even with the pieces that are around him, he showed me he could get it done. I watched that game 6 of them playing against the Warriors and how good that, and not just how good he was, but how good that Toronto team was. And if you put that kind of talent around a player like Kawhi Leonard, especially today, I mean, he could definitely be awesome. The problem is he going to hold up? Because over the last 5 years, what have I seen? Breakdown. I have never questioned Kawhi Leonard's game. Kawhi Leonard has always been awesome. The question is can he hold up? The guy over the last 4 seasons, I think he's averaging 53 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think over the last 4 seasons, he's averaging 53 games. And 4 or 5 seasons, he's averaging 53 games. I can't count on nobody playing barely half the season and breaking down in the playoffs. I can't count on you. 2021, I think it's 2022. I'm sorry, 2021, tore up his knee in the playoffs. Last year, Tore up his knee again in the playoffs. So, I mean, I can't count on you when that's going on with you. That doesn't negate how good he is. That doesn't exclude how awesome he is as a talent, because he's the engine. Of all of those guys, Big Ops, Norman Powell's been to the NBA championship and won it as a rotation guy, and he's playing his role as great as anybody could possibly play. Russell Westbrook has been to the NBA championship, didn't win it, but has been to the NBA championship. Now he's in a reduced role, and he's great. Paul George already told us he's not a number one. He already told us that. We've seen James Harden go deep into the playoffs and ultimately not work out. The one guy who we've seen do it more than once, it's contingent on him staying healthy. And that's the thing that I'm worried about, because over the last couple of years, he hasn't been. That's why I'm out on the Clippers.
You know what, though, Shutdown? This team is so good that they can compete without Kawhi if Paul George is healthy. Can they win it? No, I don't think so. But they can compete. They're at the least they're a very tough second round exit. If everybody else is healthy, if Paul George is, if Kawhi's out, but everybody else is healthy, I can see it. I can see them still being a competitive team.
Well, what did they get together for, Big Ox? We didn't get together to be a competitive. We did not get together to be a competitive second round exit. No.
Right.
James Harden asked to come to the Clippers because we're trying to win it. Paul George is staying with the Clippers because they're trying to win it. Kawhi Leonard signed an extension because they're trying to win it. Russ, who I thought was great on that team last year before Kawhi Leonard went down. To be honest with you, Big Ox, before Kawhi Leonard goes down, I'm not sure that Phoenix beats them. I am not sure that Phoenix beats them. I think that they beat Phoenix.
That was without Paul George.
He ain't even in the lineup. But I think that if Leonard stayed healthy, I think that they beat Phoenix, because I thought that he was playing like the best player, not in that series. I thought like he was playing like the best player in the playoffs. That's what he was looking like at that point. But he tore up his knee again, and then here we are again with him. So when the playoffs start, we're going to need him more. Then we're going to need him more in the playoffs than you do in the regular season. And the idea that, well, they brought him along slow last year. I mean, they brought him along. They're bringing him along slow in this beginning of the season. Well, they did the same thing last year. They brought him along slow, and then he broke down in the playoffs. That's the thing I'm concerned with him more than anything, Big Ox. That's why I'm out.
Right. I agree. I agree with that. I don't agree with being out. I'm not out on the Clippers.
Right.
So I'm just agreeing with what you said.
You big on them. You're huge on the Clippers.
Very big on the Clippers.
Phoenix and the Clippers. You've been adamant about them before the first jump ball in October. You told us in the summer you was loving everything that you were seeing from Phoenix. You was loving everything that you were seeing from the Clippers. But I just got to see it, Big Ox. I do. Right. If he can hold up, we having a different conversation.
Right. But speaking of guys holding up, you mentioned Kawhi tearing up his knee. I see you back at you pull back up text. I'm gonna bring you up for this conversation. I want to get your intake on this as well. But Chilltown. So speaking of guys tearing up their knees and whatnot, Joel Embiid. They said they were gonna go through the weekend and figure out the best plan for treatment. So if they do decide a surgery, right, meniscus cleanup, best case scenario, give him 6, 7, 8 weeks. If it's just a little cleanup, a little what they call it, the micro, just a cleanup, he'll be back. 6 weeks, 7, where we at? We're getting into February, so we're looking at
by the playoffs,
end of March, beginning of April,
around the playoffs.
Can the Sixers hold on? If he does have to go down for, let's just call it 8. Let's just call it 8 weeks. If Joel has to go down for 8 weeks to recover, and he comes back fresh in the playoffs, can the Sixers hold strong and not end up in the play-in or something like that?
I don't know if they stay as a top 3 seed in the East. I mean, they've already dropped to 5 before he went down. Add that to the fact that they're, I think, 5 or 6 games under 500 with Joel Embiid out the lineup. Big Ox, when you got a 35-11 guy in your lineup, just about everything you do is predicated on him and on both the offensive and defensive end of the floor. And when you lose that, now what we got to do is we got to reconstruct our entire offense and our defense. This guy is our rim protector. He's our rebounder. He's our guy that we go through. He's our guy that we go. He runs our offense. We run our offense through him. He's our guy that we go to for buckets. He's our guy that we go to when we're in transition. He is everything for us. So when we don't have that, now it's not one of those. That's why it makes me nuts when I hear this, Big Ox, the whole next man up logic. There is no next man up for Joel Embiid. No. There is no next man up for Joel Embiid. He's it. If Paul Reed, there's a reason why Paul Reed is a backup. You're not as good as the big fella. That doesn't mean that you can't be a solid rotation guy, which he is. You're just not as good as the big fella. And now what we got to do is we got to reconstruct everything we're doing. Why? Because everything we're doing is predicated on him. And we don't have enough guys to supplement what he does. So we can't get a bunch of guys that now, okay, we're going to make up for his rebounding. We're going to make up for his scoring. No, because the way we run our offense, that's the way he scores. So how are we going to score now? We're not going to be able to score the way we did when he was on the floor. So to lose him, that's going to be huge, Big Ox. And I'm going to tell you this, and you might think I'm nuts. I'd shut him down for the season. Yep, I would shut him down.
Even if it's just something to clean up, just to click. You know, when sometimes you just got a piece of the meniscus just hanging out, you just got to go clip it out. You shut him down.
If I'm not mistaken, Big Ox, this is the same injury from last year. This is a reoccurring problem. This isn't something new. This isn't like, you know, I had an MCL and then I got tendonitis or my elbow. No, one, it's the same injury. Two, it's in the same knee. And I got a big guy. This isn't a two guard who is a little bit more agile and who's lighter. No, I got a big guy. So I got to be particularly careful about how I handle him. Because if I bring him back before the playoffs, how the playoffs get ramped up, how the energy gets ramped up, he tears that knee up. I lose him for next season too. I don't just lose him for the rest of this season. I lose him for next season too. And if I do that, I'm in a world of trouble. World of trouble. If it's me, I'm shutting him down.
I heard that they were looking at DeMar DeRozan. If the Sixers can pull off a DeMar DeRozan trade in the next 5 days, if the Sixers can pull off a DeMar DeRozan trade, let him rock with Tyrese for the next 6 weeks, stay around the 4 or 5 seed. I got to bring Joel back. I got to go for that run, Chilton. I got to go for that. That's our chance. That's the window right there. I have to go for that.
So, quick question. First of all, salute, fellas. What's going on?
What up?
My first question to you, Ox, would be: you're flipping Debo with Tobias. Are you taking Tobias Harris out the lineup?
I'm not sure what the move is. I just saw a couple things on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. It was nothing like a trade is in the works. It was just them saying that the Sixers had inquired about DeMar. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure Tobias would have to be in that, correct? Like for the money to match up. Is that true, Chilton? Like,
I think it would have to be that.
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. I think Chicago hands him over for a bucket of extra crispy. I think they got a fire sale going on in Chicago.
No Tobias, okay.
I think they got a fire sale going on in Chicago. Where have they been over the last 2 years? They've been a bottom of the play-in. They've been at the bottom of the play-in tournament. If the play-in tournament wasn't around, this is not a playoff team, right? So with that being said, what are they? Like I told you guys, losing Lonzo Ball really screwed them up. And this is where they've been over the last 2-3 years. This is them. So when you have a fire sale, I immediately think about I immediately think about waiting to excel when homegirl was selling skis. These are $300-$400 skis. Give me $2 for them. Here you go. You can have them. Yeah. You want this suit right here? You want this $600 suit? Give me $50 for it. Everything. Because we got to start over in Chicago. We have to.
I got even a better one. So when there's so you guys from areas, you guys are familiar with Dr. J's, right? I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Dr. J's Ox. So usually Dr. J's is the first sign of a store when you know there's gentrification going on. They're gonna be the first one where everything must go. You're gonna see the construction signs up, you're gonna see sneakers 2 for $30. They're gonna give you the K-Swiss with the Jordan. Like, hold on, I get K-Swiss and Jordan. What's happening over here?
Body's Jordan.
Dr. J's is a store.
Oh, absolutely.
Dr. J's
I
like
don't think we got none of those over
It's
here.
in the Northeast. It's in the Northeast.
Yeah, we don't got none of those.
It's in the Northeast.
So Dr.
You buy these J's. We'll throw you in a pair of K-Swiss for $25 or something like
$25. Yeah. It's like a sneaker spot. It's like a sneaker spot, and they sell like your little knick-knack hood stuff, but it sells mainly sneakers and whatnot. Okay, so I agree with you, Ox. I mean, chill. I agree with you. I think they might give up Debo, and if they can keep Tobias Harris, I'm gonna look at the standings and I'm gonna throw Joel in the mix. Now, if I can't get Debo, and we're looking shaky, we're on the bottom 5. I'm with you, chill. There's no point. Let Tyrese Maxey ball out. Show his worth. Show if he can the shot creation, leverage things like that. He might win you a game. You know what I mean, or 2, and then we can see how he plans out and then prepare for the following year. Try to re-up in the summertime and see if we get some more pieces. I agree with that. But it's a tough task because I feel like if you do have DeRozan, now you're really competitive in terms of the things that you needed, which is an extra shot creator, extra ball handler. Like he might be that fit that might take Philly over the top. Speaking of that, I want to transition real quick because you're familiar with big men, and like you said, Chill loves the big men. His cousin is probably one of the greatest big men in my generation. So my question is in regards to Giannis and his play style. For him to get to the next, to maintain the dominance that he has, what do you think his play style should end up going to? Should he get bigger and start playing like Shaq, or should he stay as this, smaller guy and play, a little bit more fluid, face-up game, driving from the rim, perimeter oriented? Because in my opinion, I think that once his athleticism dwindles down, right? Although he's going to still be athletic, the fact that he has really no post work and the jump shot is shaky, what is he going to resort to? Like, what is he going to end up falling
Tex, there is nothing little about Giannis.
Nothing little about Giannis. He's every bit of 6'11". He's like 255. He's huge.
Shoulders he's huge.
Yes, he's a huge.
So no, what I mean by little, I don't. All right, so yeah, I don't. Maybe I'm bugging up. What I mean by athletic, more so on the athletic side rather than getting the girth and the Shaq kind of like fridge frame. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because in my opinion, go ahead.
I don't think that we see a different Giannis in terms of size.
Okay.
The whole idea that Giannis in terms of post work. Okay, first of all, how many Olajuwons have we seen in the NBA?
One. And Joel he's trying, but he don't got.
That's what I'm talking about. Like how many David Robinsons have we seen? Like guys with ridiculous box work. Not many, right? But as a big,
Okafor was one of them. Remember Jahlil Okafor? He was supposed to be one of them.
You spitting text.
He was supposed to be. He was supposed to be, but he wasn't. The point that I'm making here is The point that I'm making here is, as a big, there's really only 2 moves that you need. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge told me this. He told us this. I got an open pivot. And I got a jump hook. That's my go-to. Now, the other stuff, that's the extracurricular, that's Olajuwon. You won't have that. And if you don't have it by now, you're never going to get that. So the idea that Giannis Antetokounmpo has not improved on the block. Oh, he absolutely improved on the block because he couldn't open pivot 5 years ago. He couldn't jump hook with the weak hand a couple of years ago. He didn't trust that in the mid-post open pivot and knocking down that 10-footer. He didn't trust that 5 years ago. So with that being said, he's going to transition to the block, and his game is going to get simplified. Now, I will tell you this, Tex. He's got probably 5 more years, I feel like, at this level. Because the way he plays, he's very physical. That's the way Giannis plays. And I think that his body, by the time he's 34, going on 35, that's when you're going to start to see Giannis slow down. Because, again, he's 29 now. So a guy that like I hear, like when they were playing against the Celtics, I was hearing the logic of being physical with him. No, you don't. That's like getting in the ring with Mike Tyson and going blow for blow. You don't want to do that. Right. He want to play like that. In fact, he's inviting that. No, you don't want to do that with him. So when his game
going to roll off your body or push you out the way, right?
That's what he wants to play like that. He does not want to. He does not want to. He's not a finesse big. No, he wants to play like that. So I feel like 4 or 5 years, I don't think the drop off is going to be like Dominique Wilkins. I don't think it's going to be like that. But I do feel like it's going to be one because that mid range has to be more respectable than what it is. That's the only way. That's the only way the drop off isn't this, as opposed to just this. So if that mid range could get a little bit more respectable over the next 5 years, I think he'll be fine. And playing on the block, I think he'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would prefer him working and sharpening that jumper rather than him trying to focus on adding extra moves or extra packages in the low block. The reason why I ask is because the play style, you're not going to have Brook Lopez forever. So eventually, in my opinion, I think Giannis is going to shift to the 5, which will give you probably a stretch 4 that you're going to have. So the style of you playing pick and roll with knees bumping against you, you know what I mean? Like hitting your thighs, things like that, all of that, although he invites that, is going to take a wherewithal on his body. In my opinion, I think putting him closer to the rim, Phil Jackson said it the best. Shaq, you are the biggest man in the world. Just run to the middle of the paint and steal. I think if Giannis has that, I think that saves him a couple of years as well, in my opinion. Just turning and stealing, you know what I mean, working on that.
Sure, absolutely. I can definitely get with that logic. Here's the difference, though, context. The difference is that the game is evolving, and you know how much I love Shaq and Olajuwon and Jabbar and David Robinson and Ewing. The guy that plays on the block primarily, he's gone, though. That dude is gone. So when Giannis now becomes 34, 35, sure, he'll play on the block, but the game is going to get pushed out even more. You see Wemby and Chet. That's the future of the NBA right there. That's what the NBA is about to look like. Guys like that, ridiculously skilled, stretch 4, stretch 5, money in the mid-range, be able to go down, be able to get downhill. When Giannis gets to that age, he's not going to be able to get downhill as much because he's going to be a little bit older, right? And those injuries are going to catch up. So how do I avoid that? I avoid that by putting him in the mid-post a little bit more in that open pivot jump shot. Because, again, guys don't play on the block that much. David Robinson, Shaq, Olajuwon, them dudes don't, and this is what the game is. And I don't think Giannis needs to have 1,000 moves. If he could just give you 2 good ones, you straight.
That's all. You straight. You straight. Okay.
That's it. I don't need 1,000 moves on the block. No.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
If you're on the block and you can go with the jump hook over the left shoulder or over the right shoulder.
Right shoulder.
That's sufficient. That's sufficient.
Big Ox, you a big man.
Over either shoulder. Yeah.
Ox, you a big man. You go over the left shoulder and the right shoulder with the jump hook. I can't stop you.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all.
And the athlete and the athlete that Giannis is, I can't stop him. I don't care who you are, how big you are. You can't stop that. You can't.
I got one more thing, fellas. Just want your thoughts on it, and I'm out. Salute to you guys again. Appreciate the time. There are some trade talks with Kuzma, possibly going with Dallas, and there's also talks of Marcus Smart potentially going to the Bucks. So thoughts on that, and if not, would you want to see them in other places? So thoughts on that first, and then if you guys will see them in other places.
Kuzma. I like Kuzma in Dallas. I don't mind that because Kuzma is a transition 3, gets up and down the floor. I think that would work with Luka if Luka were to get off the peel a little bit more, because a lot of people don't recognize
just a little bit. Luka, you're great. Just a little bit, though.
Get
Luka.
off the peel, fam. Get off the peel, B. That's hard. Context. That's hard. That's hard to play with, yo. It's hard to play with a dude like that. That's that ball down. Don't get me wrong. He is looking for you, and he will pass, but he's passing when he thinks that he should pass. When when you pounding the basketball, pounding the basketball.
No, but you got to see the numbers after 5 dribbles. It is night and day from between 0 to 5 and 5 to 8. Luka between 5 to 8 dribbles is like shooting close to like 70%. Like it gets insane, like true shooting. Like it gets insane. But go ahead. I apologize for interrupting. Go ahead.
Right. So a guy like that, I think that Kuzma could flourish playing with a guy like Luka, but he has to get off the peel, man. Luka has got to trust his guys, and there's a reason why. You know, when he was out the lineup, Kyrie Irving was averaging 40 for 3 games. There's a reason why when he was out the lineup, Tim Hardaway Jr. was averaging like 32. He was balling. Because when you playing with a dude that's that ball dominant, when you playing with a guy that's ball dominant, it's difficult to play with. It's difficult to play off the ball with him because I don't know. I know I'm getting it because he's gonna pass. I just don't know when I'm getting it, and that's the difference.
And
because
what is that? What's that, Chill? Because Ox doesn't understand what rhythm means. He doesn't for some strange reason. He thinks we're supposed to come in as professional basketball players and just catch and shoot and make them. No, Ox, it don't work like that.
Yes,
it don't work like that,
yes,
brother.
that's exactly.
Go ahead, OG.
No, it does
not. Put your brother on. Put your brother on.
No, it doesn't.
I need you to be ready. I need you to be ready to play.
Which I am ready. That's not the problem. The problem isn't that I'm not ready to play because I'm ready to play. But when I haven't touched the ball in 3 trips and then I touch the ball with a double team on me, now I gotta get a shot. As opposed to when I'm getting shots in the flow of the offense, in the flow of the game, as opposed to I gotta go get the ball. I gotta chase the ball. And my mentality is different as opposed to when you looking for me. That's rhythm right there. And when a guy is looking for you, that's what that's when he's the most effective.
I feel I don't want to go too far off the conversation, but as I said before when we had this conversation, I feel like you should be able to get in rhythm on all aspects of the game. Like me playing defense, talking on defense, being active, communicating with my teammates, calling out screens, fighting through screens. That's getting in rhythm. You know what I mean? I feel like all that is running the floor. That's me getting the rhythm. I'm getting prepared for what's next. So and mind you, I've never been a high volume shooter. I've never been the guy to come and shoot 20 shots, so I have a different aspect of it too. I know I'm getting 7, 10, 11 shots today, and I got to make those work for me. So,
well, how about this, Big Ox? Let's take buckets off the table for a second. Just so you know context, Ox is 6'9", right? So Ox is a defender. Ox is a rim protector. He a glass cleaner. Imagine, Big Ox, if we were playing and everybody, including your guy, we all standing around. No action to the basket, no movement. So you basically just standing around, as opposed to there's a lot of action going on around you. There's a lot of shots getting up, which means that now you can clean glass. Now you in the rhythm of the game. If all of these dudes doing is standing outside and they're not doing anything and it's long rebounds, well, you ain't really involved in the game like you would like to be. There's no rhythm to you, as opposed to when you got guys going downhill. Now you can get to the rim and block shots. You got guys playing in the mid post or in the mid range and they shooting shots where you can rebound. Now you're involved in the game, big fella. Now you've gotten a rhythm, as opposed to all these dudes doing is shooting long balls and you doing this. Because that's where the ball going and you can't really get yourself involved in the game.
And I'm running. I can't be a big man running up and down, blocking shots for you here, blocking shots for you there. You see me on the flash. I can catch and dunk, but you don't throw me the ball. Eventually, I'm not going to be engaged in it. Eventually,
big fella running, get him the ball.
You know what I mean? Like, not everybody is tapped in. They got to touch. You know, I sometimes Ox, you notice some plays when they first get in as subs, they come in and they rub the ball when they on the free throw line. You see that I just got to get my hands on the ball so I can like feel the ball, so that when it gets to me, I know what it falls, but I know what it feels like. You know what I mean? I know what like. That's and it's a real thing. It's a real thing. That's so.
Yeah,
but I appreciate you guys. You guys can continue on.
Absolutely,
with
brother.
The second one was Marcus Smart going to the Bucks. So let me know what you think. Like the beam, tap into No Snooze button on Mondays and Fridays. You know what I mean? And tap into a Graveyard Shift. You know what I'm saying? Free promo. Nah, but salute to you guys. Appreciate you, Chuck, for having me on.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Yeah, Big Ox. I was an advocate of that because I wasn't until I got to college that I actually got to play with a big guy. And I was over the moon happy about that because I had never played with a big guy before. So to see a big guy rebounding and to see a big guy running, I was like, if he running, even if I got a one-on-one, if this big dude is running, I'm going right to the rim and I'm getting off of it because I know what's going to happen when he's down there. He's going to rebound for me. He's going to rim protect for me. He's going to clean up my misses. So I'm rolling with that dude. But Marcus Smart getting traded to Milwaukee, I don't think that he's the difference there. He's not what they need in terms of a point guard. They already got the lead guard that they have. That's a problem, but that's the buckets that they're getting.
So you would rather have Alex Caruso instead of Marcus Smart. You don't think Marcus Smart can does the same things as Alex Caruso?
Not as a wing defender. I don't. Not as a wing. I think Marcus Smart is a damn good point of attack defender, one of the best in the game. But as a switchable wing defender, I feel like Alex Caruso getting around screens, being a ball hawk, not just being a ball hawk, getting on the backboard, defending in transition. I'm thinking about more of a wing defender than a point of attack guy, because I feel like that point of attack guy, we can protect him in certain areas. Damian Lillard, on the other hand, if we don't have that wing, we can't protect him. We don't. That's why I'm telling you, Big Ox, get on that telephone and call up New Orleans Pelicans. Ask for Herb Jones. Get on that telephone, call up the Chicago Bulls. Ask for Alex Caruso. Get on the telephone, call up the Portland Trailblazers. Ask for Thibault. Get on the telephone, call up the Orlando Magic. Ask for Isaacs. Call up these teams and ask them how they feel about these guys. Check their temperature. Because Big Ox, you and me had this conversation. What's the worst thing she can say, Big Ox?
Nope.
That's it. But you know what else she might say?
Yes. Man, gotta call. Gotta ask. Please. Ask. Man. Let me see. We got a couple super chats. Let's get through these. As y'all know, we do never neglect the super chats. We always get to them. Reggie Red says, Ox, I thought I saw you in a Lambo truck yesterday. I don't know. Could have been KRS-One. It
was this dude. It was him. Reggie Red. It was him. Don't let this. It was him for real. It was him. Was it a red one? Because if it was a red one, it was him. Right? It was him bumping that West Coast music with the windows down in the wintertime. That was definitely Big Ox.
Definitely, or slapping that E40. Oh man, KRS-One. That's hilarious. From Porvita, Spurs got like 8 edition first round picks, but other teams that won't affect our consecutive picks. Trae cool, but we need Luka.
No.
Mavs wasting him. Luka is 24. Wemby's 20. No. Thanks for the super chat, Porvita.
No, that's not happening, brother. This is what you get. You San Antonio, if you call, especially Pop, if he calls up the Dallas Mavericks and checks their temperature on Luka, click, that's what he getting.
Because who makes those decisions? Is it still Mark Cuban over there, or do they have a guy that's running the basketball operation?
I think that they have Mark is. I think Mark already sold his stake. I think he sold his stake in the team.
That's right. I think he still has some. He sold a majority.
A minority stake. Yes, he does. He still has a minority stake, but ultimately, I think he sold his majority stake. I think that they do have somebody running that. And with that being said,
so he doesn't have any like creative control. He doesn't have any GM or.
I'm sure he's still involved on some level and in some capacity. I'm sure he's still involved. But with that being said, if we're dealing with somebody, let me tell you who we're not dealing with. We ain't dealing with Pop, especially if it involves Luka. Click, goodbye. Don't call me.
Right. Also, I'm saying whoever answers that phone, if Mark Cuban's in the office and he's like, "Oh, it's Pop," Mark gonna be like, "Give me the phone. Give me the phone right now.
Put him through. Right. Yes. Put him through.
Let me holler at Greg real quick."
And the conversation start, Big Ox, with let's start with don't start none of your nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so you know, if you call in here about Luka, hang up right now because I'm not even entertaining this conversation. So we clear.
Mark Cuban the cuss Pop out, yo. Relax.
What? You calling for what? Are you crazy?
Air Buddy Unleashed. Unpopular. But I get why the Rockets want to send Nets picks for Bridges, Amin Thompson, Whitmore. Okay, I got you. Okay, so unpopular, but I get why the Rockets want to send the Nets picks for Bridges, Amin Thompson, Whitmore, Bridges, Brooks, Sengun. Chill. I like that core, man. And Bridges is only 27. He fits their core timeline.
It would be obvious that you building a unit around Sengun, who's 21 years old. Is he 21, 22? And with that young group right there, I mean, don't get me wrong, Mikal Bridges would be, I don't think he would be I'm not sure he would be an upgrade offensively, but overall, I think he would be an upgrade for the Houston Rockets. And to get those picks, I think you can build for the future because you got a young group. Absolutely. You got a young group. I like it.
When I heard about this, because I didn't know this was even a thing until yesterday, right before like the panel, and then we talked about it, of course. I'm not mad at that for Houston. I love Jalen Green, I do, but man, that's a good move. I can't give back all those picks though. Maybe one. maybe
two.
one.
You can't have all of them, though. You can't.
Right. No way that's happening.
And Big Ox, I know you. I know when you are comfortable coming off somebody. You'll be like, yeah, you can have this. No question. But the picks, no.
Yeah, it's not happening. I can't do that.
You can't do that.
Because Jalen Green is still going to be a really good player in the NBA. So, Winter, thoughts on Magic versus Wolves and Hawks versus Suns? And Chill, did you see Kuminga?
Well, let's start with the Magic and the Wolves. I actually had Minnesota smoking Orlando yesterday. We had this conversation yesterday on the panel, and I had them smoking Orlando, which they were doing. I think they had an 18-point lead at one point. Going into the fourth quarter, they were up 8. Going into the fourth quarter. I am going to keep saying this to you guys until I'm blue in the face. Stop saying that the Minnesota Timberwolves have a half-court offense problem. No, they don't. They run damn good action. Not only do they run damn good action, they get damn good shots. The problem is they got a third-year shooting guard who's still trying to figure it out, and a big man as your number 2 who disappears. Last night is a prime example of that. They started the fourth quarter 1 for 6. 1 for 6. That's how Orlando got back in the game. That's exactly how Orlando got back in the game. So when I watch Minnesota and I watch their action, they run these 2 sets in particular, Big Ox, that I really dig. They run this one set where you got Ant is on the right side of the floor. Cat comes to screen for him. Mike Conley has the ball up at the top. He gets the ball from Mike Conley. Rudy comes right behind Cat and screens. Basically, it's a double screen to get him a shot. And then there's a second action that they have on the on the left wing, where we got a pin down and Ant pops on the wing, and then Rudy comes to set a screen for him and slips the screen and dives to the basket, which creates one-on-one opportunities for Ant. Those 2 actions I really like. The problem is that they don't convert them. That's the biggest issue. It's not that they're not getting good shots, because they're getting damn good shots. They're just not converting those shots. And on top of that, they're one of the worst transition teams in the league. They're not one of the worst. I take that back. They're in the middle in terms of transition points. That's a problem for them. When you have a team that's that good athletically, when you have a team that's that fast, you should not be in the middle of the league in terms of transition points. You should get more transition points. But these guys, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Alexander Walker, they run to the long ball line. Nobody's running to the rim. Nobody's getting easy buckets, because Mike Conley is looking for you when you're running. Mike Conley is absolutely looking for you. So that's how Orlando got back in that game last night. It was that they weren't converting in the fourth quarter, because they have leads going into the fourth quarter and they get good action in their offense. It's just about conversion. That's all that is. Now, as far as the Magic, as far as Phoenix and Atlanta, I think that game yesterday was Trae Young showing everybody, you don't want to put me on an all-star team, that's fine, but I want you to know I'm still one of the 5 best point guards in the league. And you cannot deny that about me. You can't. You will not deny that about me. I am one of the 5 best league guards in the game today. Without a doubt, I'm one of the 5 best league guards in the game. And I get it done.
In Chill-Town, that is a perfect segue into the title. Trae Young had to prove something last night that he's one of the top guys. We talk a lot about the importance of accolades, the importance of making all NBA teams, the importance of making all-star teams, the importance of MVPs, defensive players of the years, all these accolades. Is there any like direct correlation in where we rank players and then not making all-star teams or making all-star teams? Like for guys like
keep talking, big guy.
Yep. For guys like Trae Young, for guys like De'Aaron Fox, for guys like Domantas Sabonis, Rudy Gobert, these guys that got snubbed for all-star games this year, do things like this affect your career down the line?
I think it does for the casual fan, because the casual fan is going to look at a guy like Trae Young and see that, well, you only made the All-Star team 4 times. You only played in the All-Star game 5 times. What they're going to leave out is he's the only player in the NBA history to average 25 a game in multiple seasons and not make the All-Star game. That's never happened. He's the only dude to ever do that. And it's obvious that he's getting overlooked. It's not because he plays in Atlanta. I don't think that's the problem. I think one of the major problems is the state of the NBA. That's what it is. And I don't think it's the fact that, Damian Lillard moved over to the Eastern Conference or the emergence of Jalen Brunson, because that still doesn't surpass what Trae Young has been doing. I think that they take what Trae Young has been doing for granted more than anything. I mean, Big Ox, I think that over the last 4 years, he's been a 28-10 guy over the last 4 years, something ridiculous like that. He's second in the league in assists, one of the best distributors in the game. So that's now become the norm with him. So when we see a guy like Jalen Brunson doing what he's doing, immediately he becomes the flavor now. And we'll forget that, I've been doing that for the last 4 years. I've been doing work for the last 4 years. What you see, Trae, what you see Jalen Brunson doing, what you see Damian, I've been doing that. But because you're so immune to it, you're so used to seeing me do it, that it kind of goes by the wayside. And I think it's a bad thing, because he's going to be one of those guys that gets neglected when history is now written. He's going to be one of those guys that people look at and go, well, how good was he really? Well, he was a lot better. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the numbers don't tell the whole story, but they tell a lot of the story. And Trae Young was a lot better than people give him credit for. He was a lot better than that.
I'm having a hard time being convinced that Jalen Brunson is better than Trae Young.
Oh, I'm not on that train, Big Ox. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I just can't get behind that. I understand maybe that the All-Star game might be about who's just playing better right now. And even with that, even if you go straight to the stats, still Trae Young.
Well, think about what the All-Star game is, Big Ox. The All-Star game is what you've done over the last 2 months, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's what you've done since October. And then the voting closes at the end of January. So October, November, the end of October is when the season starts. So basically the last week of October, November, December, and then January. So it's 2.5 months. Now, sure, Jalen Brunson has played well in the playoffs, but so is Trae Young. Trae Young has done work in the playoffs too. He actually, and to get there, they beat that New York Knicks team. He went into the Garden and shut that place down. Yes, he has. Trae Young could take some untimely shots. His shot selection can throw teams off, right? Trae Young can take some untimely shots and throw his team's offense off. But he's always been one of the best distributors in the game. He's always been one of the better playmakers in the game. And because of that, we kind of overlook how good he is simply off the strength that it's just become the norm. And it's not normal, Big Ox, for somebody to be 28-10. That's not normal. And he's been doing it for so long that it's like, oh, he's 27-11, so no big deal. Oh, he's 28-10, oh, no big deal. Yo, this dude been doing this for like 3-4 years straight. And somebody comes along and they're 26-6 or they're 26-8, and this blows our mind. Oh, Trae Young been 28-10 for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah. Hey, Leaf Diggy, please click on that link. I need to holler at you about something you just said in the chat. I got to holler at you about something you just said in the chat. But so what you just said, Chilltown, last couple weeks, last couple months, I'm sorry, will kind of determine All-Star, right? So let's bring it out west. Let's talk about the January that Domantas Sabonis has had. I believe this January, Domantas Sabonis has averaged 23, 13, and 9.
just so you guys know, just to put this in context, when Kevin Garnett won the league MVP in 2004, he went 24, 13, and 4. I just want to put that on your mind. So I just want to put that out there. When KG did it, when he won the league
23, MVP. 13, and 9, Chilltown.
This is the league leading rebounder, which now you guys want to bring it up that Sabonis leads the league in rebounding. Okay, Rudy Gobert led the league in rebounding. You wasn't saying nothing about him being an all-star. You ain't say a word about it. But when Sabonis leads the league in rebounding, which, by the way, he's been a glass cleaner for years. He's been a double-double machine for years. That shouldn't matter. The fact that how good he is. I said this to Big Ox yesterday. It was either yesterday, Big Ox, or Wednesday, when I professed how I felt about Sabonis. I'm watching that. They came to town. They played against Miami, and I'm watching this dude, and I'm like, yo, this dude is nice. I need to start watching more Sacramento. I'm loving this dude. They run their offense just like Denver. They run their offense through Sabonis, one of the best distributing big men in the game. To be honest with you, if I'm thinking about the big guys in the game, after Joker, anybody you want to have a conversation with me about when it comes to Sabonis distributing, and I don't just mean at the big guy. I don't mean bigs. I'm talking about overall. I'm talking about overall distributors. You want to have a conversation with me? Let's talk about it. Because when I watch Sabonis in that offense is humming when he gets the basketball and they running it through him.
Right.
Pick and dives, pick and pops, transition, stop and pops. That offense is humming. And how many second chance points he creates for them. How many times he'll get the rebound and just give them one chance. When you got somebody like that on your crew, you have an opportunity to win every night. Big Ox, I love me some Sabonis, man. I do. I love me some Sabonis.
This is something I didn't realize until I think my junior year in high school, when my coach kind of told me, like, we want our offense to run. We want to get the ball and we want to go. So that means I need you to be able to push the break. I need you to be able to grab a rebound. You know, it could be a long rebound, a short rebound, and I need you to push it. I don't need you waiting, looking for the guard. I don't need my guards coming back to the ball. I need to get the ball and we need to get gone. When you see Domantas Sabonis doing that and doing it very effectively, it just, you know, it's something else. It's something else. Like he makes our offense run so much quicker. So it's not like he's just getting the ball in the high post and giving us just the backdoor bounce pass, which is a good thing for a big to be able to do. I'm not discrediting that. It's not an easy thing to do, but that's not what DeMar Sabonis is. He's not just giving it at the high post and dumping for the backdoor bounce pass. No, he's getting it in the break and he's pushing the ball. He's getting all types of different looks, all types of different assists from all different types, all different spots on the floor. I want to say today, I'm dead serious. This was never a joke, but now I see how much the NBA hates Sacramento.
I Big Ox, I mean, to have two guys that are a top 5 seed in the Western Conference, which I'm not on that the Western Conference is better than the Eastern Conference because I don't feel like that anymore. But I do feel like the Western Conference is really competitive. And to have two guys on that crew, one of them is leading the league in rebounding. And I think if he's not leading the league in double-doubles, he's in the top 3 in the league in double-doubles. And the other guy, let's see, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell. I think that's it. They average more points than De'Aaron Fox. I think those are the only 3 guys that average more points than De'Aaron Fox. To have those 2 guys on your crew and not have any of them as an all-star, Big Ox, I ain't even saying both of them got to be an all-star, but you can't sell me that none of them are. You can't do that. You can't sell me that not one of them dudes is an all-star. 100% they are. And the biggest problem that I have when I think about the all-star game is that it's become less celebrated. I mean, I think about the all-star game being a big deal. This is supposed to be the best pickup game in the world. That's what it's supposed to be. And it's supposed to be competitive. It's not anymore because, again, I keep hearing guys saying stuff like guys are afraid of getting hurt. Well, if you think you're going to get hurt, then you are going to get hurt. But this isn't about that. This is about competition. This is about you standing in front of me, and we're going to go at it. And we're going to go at it, and we're going to give these people what they came to see, 100%. So now what it's become a lob fest, and guys aren't playing defense. And now the All-Star game has kind of been diminished. It doesn't really seem like it's credible anymore. When in reality, being an NBA All-Star is a big deal. And a guy like Trae Young, a guy like De'Aaron Fox, a guy like Sabonis. I can't even say a guy like Sabonis. Who is like Sabonis in the NBA? Joker? Who's doing what them two dudes? Who's doing what they doing? There aren't many guys that are doing what they're doing. And I'm a big Anthony Davis fan. You guys know how I feel about Anthony Davis. But when I watch Sabonis, man, I love that guy. Oh man, he is everything you're looking for in a big guy. Everything.
Right. So like you said, Chilton, I'm not saying DeMontis and De'Aaron should have been all-stars. I can understand we only get one, but should have got one.
Right. At least
let
one.
me run I'm gonna run through these super chats and I'm gonna get to y'all in the that's in the lobby waiting. I see y'all. We're gonna run through these real quick. As y'all know, I can never neglect the super chats. We don't do that here on Chill with Chill.
They run the
so
show.
Let's get to it real quick. Key said, Damo the only one that picked us versus the Wolves. Yo, when J.I. plays, you can't count us out.
I was surprised that they won yesterday. I was. I was really surprised.
Yeah, shout out to Jonathan Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Leaf Diggy said, Russ hit 25K last night.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yes, sir. He most certainly did. Let me see. Air Buddy Unleashed came with another super chat. Says, remember in 2021, Trae Young was riding the top of the world. I hope Brunson doesn't face a backlash because NBA media loves to big guys up and then do a 180.
New York Knicks fans in particular, not just NBA media, New York fans in particular. Don't forget, Julius Randle is the only All-Pro that they've had since Carmelo Anthony. Just so you guys know, since Carmelo Anthony, he gets on the crew. This team had lost 50 straight games for 5 consecutive years. 50 straight games. 50. They had a 50. They were losing 50, not 50 straight. I'm sorry. They were losing 50 games a season for 5 straight years. Julius Randle gets on that crew. Now all of a sudden, this team is a playoff team. Julius Randle didn't perform in the playoffs last year. We go from Julius Randle being an All-Pro and an All-Star, and we love him, to they're tearing his poster down, telling everybody, yo, trade Julius Randle. I'm worried for Jalen Brunson because one minute they love you, the next minute they're going to be standing outside Madison Square Garden with pitchforks and knives, and they want to run you out of town. And that's New York fans more than anybody. That is absolutely New York.
What fans are worse with that, Chilton? New York fans or Philadelphia fans? Cool turn on you.
Knicks fans. Knicks fans.
Okay.
Definitely Knicks fans.
Okay. Sports PSP, what's up, fam? Came through with the super chat, said, happy Saturday, fellas. Chill. Start, bench, and cut. Keith Sweat, Johnny Gill, Bobby Brown.
That's easy.
Damn,
for me.
SPS.
That's easy for me.
Is it?
So yeah, that's easy for me. So there was a stretch in the late 80s, early 90s, where there wasn't anybody hotter on planet Earth than Bobby Brown. That includes Michael Jackson, Luther Bent, line them all up. They wasn't touching Bob. They wasn't touching the Brown Bomber. So I'm gonna start him. Number 2, I'm gonna bench Johnny Gill. Why am I gonna bench Johnny Gill? Because Johnny Gill was, I'm thinking of a crew right now. Johnny Gill was the Porzingis to the Boston Celtics. New Edition was a playoff team. He turned them into a championship team. That's who he was. And I'm cutting Keith Sweat.
That was where I was having my issue right there. Keith Sweat or Johnny Gill. I didn't know which way to go. Man, couldn't imagine cutting Keith, but cutting Johnny Gill, that's not really an option. Oh, man. Okay. All right, let's see who we got back here first. Let's get my man Emmanuel. What's up, fam?
What up?
Yo, what's going on?
What up?
So I had a question for Chill, Ox, you answer you want to. So if you have Embiid as your top 10 center, if you don't per se, what would it take for him to get in there? Because with the injuries and, him not being able to build up like a playoff resume, it's not looking good like for, people who want to put him in the top 10 or even higher all-time centers. So where do you guys stand with that?
You just said it. His injuries. Those guys in the top 10, with the exception of Bill Wall, and those guys in the top 10 played. And they performed when the lights got brighter. I can't. That's not to say that Embiid isn't awesome. So I want to clarify something right now. A lot of people think that when you don't talk about Joel Embiid or any of these great players, when you don't talk about them, when you talk about some of the all-time greats like that, that means they're not as good. No, what it means is that you weren't available like these guys. So I can't talk about you like that. There's a reason why John Stockton is where he is in the record books, because he was available. There's a reason why guys like that are where they are. There's a reason why Robert Parrish is where he is in the record books. He wasn't a compiler. He produced. He wasn't just on the floor. He produced. And as good as Joel Embiid is, if he's not available, I can't talk about him like I talk about Olajuwon. I can't talk about him like I talk about Shaq. I can't talk about him like I talk about Jabbar. I can't talk about him like I talk about Ewing, because he wasn't available. He played, but he didn't play enough.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And, you saw Russ got his 25,000 point shot.
I did see that. Yes,
so
I did.
If he were to win a chip, as like not just like some like 10-minute per game guy, but like a contributing 6-man type player, where would that move him up in like your point guard list? Because I know you had I think you had him at 11 the last time I talked to you, right?
Was it 11? I said that you could make a case for him being top 10. I might have had him right outside the top 10. Maybe I did, but for him to win an NBA championship and considering doing what he's doing now, and it would be hard to keep him out the top 10. With that resume, it would be hard to keep him out of the top 10. A league MVP, led the league in assists a bunch of different times. I think he had a 5-year stretch where he averaged double-figure assists. Took a team to the NBA Finals and won the NBA championship. If he was to win the NBA championship as a rotation player, a legit rotation player, because we don't talk about like Mitch Richmond won an NBA championship, but he wasn't getting no run on that Laker team in 2002. He wasn't playing. He was Tracy McGrady on San Antonio. That's who he was, and they just didn't close the deal. With that being said, I would have a difficult time keeping him out the top 10. A real difficult time, though.
All right, for sure.
Yep.
I know. All right, man. You appreciate you, fam.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.
It would be hard, Big Ox, if they won it, and I think he's going to get to the 10,000 assist club. I do. I think Russ in the next 2 years, I think he's getting there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Oh, then D Reed left. Okay, well, who we got right here? My Leaf Diggy. What's up, fam?
What up?
What's going on, Bobby? What's going on? Chill. Bobby, you said you had some. I said something in the chat.
Yeah, because you're not the first person I heard say this. I just want to know where is this logic come from everybody? So I know I'm asking you to answer for everybody, Leaf, but more so for yourself, though. Why is it that people don't value like total points, like career total points, even like regular season total points? I've heard people, oh, that was just his career total. I'm looking at the average. Like, what's the deal with that?
I feel like majority for me, majority of the career totals is somewhat based off of like years played to me, bro. Like that, clearly that's not the case with everybody. Will only played 13 years and was 28,000. Jordan only
31,
played 13 to 15 4 years, and he was 30,000, whatever. I mean, like they was ramping it up. You know, they was out of this world. Magic only played 12 years, and I think he was Magic 10,000 assist club. He's 10,000.
Yes, he's a part of the 10,000 assist club.
Yeah. Magic only played. I mean, so the reality of like the career totals thing, bro. Like most of the guys that's like up there, bro. Like they like played minimum like 15 years. They play like minimum 15 years. So like the thing is, when I look at guys like the Dirks or who else? Shaq played 19 years. Dirk played about 19, 20 years. Tim Duncan played like 19, 20 years. Kobe played like 19, 20 years, bro. Like, I mean, they was all amazing players, but like when I look at the career totals of it, like they career totals don't move me as much as the averages. That's all. That's all it is. So, like,
to me, I feel the opposite.
I always hear Chilltown say year to year, yo, this dude was averaging 26 and 10 for like four or five straight years, or this dude was averaging 20 and 10 and 3 for like 8 straight years, man. Like that, I think that's moving me more than the actual career totals itself, bro. Like I don't
that's the ultimate though. Like the career totals, this is what it totaled up to. This is what I was doing to get to that.
I mean,
right?
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like I feel like, I don't know. Even though you're absolutely right, it does. But I feel like the averages from year to year is moving me, as opposed to just the career totals and just saying that. I mean, even though it led up to that, but I just don't. It's not something that I lead with. You know what I'm saying? When I say like, yo, this player is a 30K score or 25K scorer and X, Y, Z rebounder or something like that. Like a lot of people don't really lead with the fact that Charles Barkley is a 20,000 point scorer and 10,000 rebound, 5,000 assist club. Is he something like that, or is he 10 to 10,000? Is it 2010 to 5?
They should lead with that because that's very impressive. That's what I'm saying.
True.
Like it's very impressive. Those are the things that a lot of people don't know about Charles Barkley, and I think if they knew that about Charles Barkley, they'd give him a little more respect. I think longevity is extremely important, and not because it's different. Like if you're playing your last 4 or 5 seasons and you're just coming off the bench 7, 8, 10 minutes, your career totals aren't going to be that high. But when you play until you're 38, 37, 36, you know what I'm saying? When you get to those ages and you're still playing 20 plus minutes a game and you're still contributing buckets, I think that should be factored into your greatness. Like career totals are very important to me.
You absolutely right. Until we get to players like one of my favorite players that I like growing up by the name of Vince Carter, and we all know after like about like say his 10th 11th season, he was pretty much 25 minutes or less. You know what I'm saying? So like once you get in, but he's a 25K scorer. He didn't hit 25K until what, maybe like his second to last year in the league or something like that.
I think he was with us when he did it. I think he was with
I think he was with y'all when he did. So like when you get to players like that, then you like, okay, all right, man, we know why you hit 25K. But you, like with certain players, you could clearly tell why they hit the career totals that they hit. But I just like averages, averages year by year move me a whole lot more than career totals.
What's your take on this, Chilltown?
I don't hold averages above totals, and I don't hold totals above averages. I feel like one has everything to do with the other. And I care about how you did it. I care about when you did it. I care about who you did it against. And I care about how long you did it. And when you got a guy in Wilt Chamberlain averaging 30 a game for his career, averaged 30 a night. I mean, that's a big deal, which is why I'm part of the 30,000 point club. I think he had 31,000. I think he had 31,000 points for his career because I averaged 30 a game. You know, he's second all time in NBA history in points per game. That was surpassed by Jordan. So when you're doing that for that long, when you're doing it for that long, and not only are you doing it for that long, when it translates into the playoffs, right? When it translates into the playoffs and it translates into when you're on a bigger stage, I don't think that I'm putting one thing ahead of the other. I think one has everything to do with the other. Now, don't get me wrong. If a guy is playing 16 years and he's just around compiling points, I mean, I can sniff that out because I know you. I was around when you was playing and I saw what you were doing. And, you know, you weren't really that impactful. You're 13 a game. That wasn't really that impactful. You're 16 or you're 15 a game and you're 5 rebounds. That really wasn't that impactful. You was really just here. But then the other guys who I recognized that, you know, I had a 12-year stretch where I was doing this and this is what it led to. That's what I care about.
But I wanted to speak on another thing. You talked about like the state of the Eastern Conference, particularly with like Jalen Brunson. Man, you absolutely right, bro. Like, listen, you got to understand, bro. Like, it's like between Boston, New York, and the Philly fans, it's a case between the spoiled, the misbehaved, and the ugly. And obviously, the New York fans are the ugly. The misbehaved are probably the Philly fans because they don't know how to act when they do win something. The Boston fans have been the most spoiled because you look around, bro. Red Sox, Celtics, Patriots, like they don't have a damn thing to complain about. So, but if they was losing, they definitely would, bro. Case in point, you remember Buckner from the '86 Red Sox when the ball went through his legs? They tore him up. Tore him up. So the thing, those 3 cities in particular, I get what you're saying about that, but New York in particular, it's just this. The vacancy of a championship team, and we have 9 sports franchises. Like it's you know it's gonna get scarce. And,
I just seen it so many times how much, especially in that area alone in New York, New Jersey.
I don't think Ewan got dogged. Ewan didn't get dogged for not winning.
Yes, he did. How many times?
Not as much. No.
Leaf, I'm watching. I'm looking at headlines in the newspaper. Knicks look great losing with Ewing when they losing to the Bulls. They was loving them, but then they losing to the Bulls. That's the headline in the paper.
Why he didn't just go dunk that?
Knicks look great.
Bro, he didn't have the knees for that. Bro,
he had a bad Achilles at that time.
Yeah, he didn't have the lift. But like, come on, but them knees was on life support, bro, years before that time, bro. But the thing is, in the case of the Eastern Conference in terms of this year, bro, I think everything that people were saying about the Knicks possibly making a full Eastern Conference run stands true because a lot of teams are reeling right now. I mean, Milwaukee, I know neither one of y'all trust them. I damn sure don't trust that Doc Rivers. You know how I feel about the Boston Celtics. And every time the Boston Celtics fail, I'm coming to see you first. Philly, they're gonna compete, but they can't do a damn thing without Joel. Joel is gonna get this injury or a bubble guts, or he gotta take a shit, or like whatever the case may be. And then you got the rest of the East, bro. Like you got teams like Indiana, Orlando that could surprise somebody, but they nobody really take them seriously. So the reality of the Eastern Conference is like, who do you trust the most? Which was really nobody. Which obviously it can be Boston, because Miami is starting the real, trying to get Terry Rozier involved and get him acclimated. So the thing is, realistically, it's all about who do you trust. I don't trust nobody. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, the championship. Listen, I'm gonna say it. I said it last year, and I'm gonna say it again. Nuggets and fries on me. You know what I'm saying?
And I gotta, and I know that we gotta wrap this up, but I gotta say it, man. We live in an era now. This era is gonna be like the 70s. We do not have a definitive NBA champion. In the last 5 years, we've had 5 different NBA champions. We're gonna have a different one this season too. And I think that's what this era is going to be. These next 5 years.
One more thing before you leave. Listen, I know I said the Nuggets, but what is the belief system in the Clippers as these days go on, bro? Like,
how you feel? What if
they get it done? What if they get it done?
How you feel about Boston? That's how I feel about the Clippers.
That ain't how you feel, because as soon as they because as soon as they win, you got a Kawhi jersey. You two got Kawhi jerseys lined up. Yeah, like this.
You don't trust the Boston Celtics as far as you could throw them. You don't trust them dudes as far as you could throw them. But if they win it,
because I've seen them.
But if
I haven't seen Kawhi like finish. If I haven't seen Kawhi finish anything, like when we seen Kawhi not finish, we seen him break down. But we've seen a Boston team at full strength get exposed.
You've seen them break down. That's what you've seen.
But the thing about this changes so much for Russ, PG. I think the Clippers got like 4 different fan bases. They got somebody on that team, bro. Like, we want to see win. They got somebody on that team that we want to see win.
If they win it, if the Celtics win it, you now have to change your tune. Just like if the Clippers win it, I gotta walk back everything I said about them dudes. Everything. I don't have to walk back. I don't have to walk back some things or most things. I gotta walk back everything I said about them dudes. Everything.
Well, and in the case of the Celtics, bro, like I feel like I could walk it back, but me being as
ain't no but. Lee, there is no buts.
You
would have to walk back everything you said about them dudes.
You would have to leave.
You would have to.
We don't want to hear no. We don't want to hear no buts, no ifs.
Wait, Bobby. Wait. Before I go,
just like there would be no buts if the Clippers won it. Clippers won it, I would have to everything that I said about them. I don't believe in them. Kawhi Leonard I would have to walk back all of that.
Bobby,
if the Sixers win, I'm gonna walk it back too.
Bobby, you talking to somebody that broke down the 4 championships that the Warriors got, bro. Like, you think I give a damn about? Like, I believe in morality.
That was bogus. You know what? On that,
it wasn't.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
You believe it. And you believe it.
I was backing you. I was backing you. Just based on narrative. I was just backing you to push my own agenda, but I don't agree with that, Lee. And, hey, appreciate you pulling up though, fam. We gonna move on.
Yep.
Catch on Wednesday, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
It's gonna be some people, Big Ox, that are gonna have to change their tune, and I'm one of them. I don't see it happening, but if it did, I would have to. Because if I didn't, I'd be a goofy. And one thing that I am not a goofy. I'm not.
Right. And I'm personally looking forward to it, Chill Town. Personally, I'm looking forward.
I would have to.
But before we go, Chill, I like to get your predictions on today's games. Today we have the Nets versus the Sixers. Who do you got?
I'm taking Brooklyn tonight. I am.
Brooklyn.
Yep, I'm taking Brooklyn tonight.
Okay. A guy that some people say probably shouldn't have made the All-Star team, Steph Curry. faces a guy that definitely should have made the All-Star game, Trae Young. Who takes that? Golden State or Atlanta?
Atlanta's roll. I like what Atlanta's doing. I'm gonna take Atlanta. They beat Memphis last night. That's who Golden State beat. They beat Memphis. Give me a break. I'm good.
Then the Sacramento Kings face the Chicago Bulls.
I'm taking the Kings. Put the Montes on the All-Star team, yo. Stop playing.
The Cavs should have an easy one against the Spurs. What do you think?
They should handle them tonight. Best record in the league since January the 1st. Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ooh, Lakers Knicks.
I'm doing that game tonight on playback. Come check me out. I think the Knicks been rolling. The Knicks have absolutely been rolling. I'm going with the Knicks tonight.
The Bucks Mavs.
I'm going to take Milwaukee in this. I'm going to take Milwaukee in a shootout.
Okay.
I'm going to take Milwaukee in a shootout.
Fire. Okay, let me see. I think we got one more super chat from DSG Piccolo. Thoughts on Scoot's game versus the Nuggets? It was as Dame would say. Oh, it was as Dama would say, unethical, but I love it. Also, Sam's reported Embiid has a displaced flap of the meniscus. Also, and he's weighing rest, rehab, or procedure.
So Scoot went for 30 and 10, something like that. I think he went for 30 and 10, and it actually looked pretty good. It did look pretty good. He got to the stripe a couple of times, and I know that we're moving toward a society of ethical buckets, but I like what I'm seeing from Scoot. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Scoot. I still think Denver's the class of the West, though. I think that they are the class of the West. This thing with Joel Embiid with his knee, this is a reoccurring thing that I'm not sure it's going to get better immediately. So I would be surprised if he came back this season. I'd be surprised.
Right. Well,
especially since they're going to drop in the East. Especially since they're going to drop in the East. They got a way worse record when he's not in the lineup. So I think they're going to drop in the East. So
yeah,
I'm
rest. I mean, rest ain't going to do it. You know, it's either rehab or procedure. Rest ain't going to do it. So it's rehab or procedure. Even the rehab is going to it's still going to have pain. Playing. You might just want to go snip that out, man. We have come to the end of the show, as y'all know, but we got a couple seconds. Let me say what's up. Let Go James pull up and say what's up real quick to y'all before we shut it down. I see the background is going crazy.
Yeah.
Are you on mute, fam? We can't hear you.
Can't hear you, B.
Bang, bang, Niners gang. What's good, fellas?
We in the bowl game. We in the bowl game.
Listen, I didn't even want to talk about the Niners. I'm upset. Trae Young should be in the All-Star game, okay? In the last 3 NBA seasons, he has the most points and assists by far. Hands down. The man's averaging 26 and 10 for 3 years straight and over 70 games. The man's an all-star.
Here's the thing, the problem that we're having is that that's become the norm. So people kind of look past it. So when somebody else is doing it and it's the new shiny toy, like Jalen Brunson, wow, yo, this is fantastic. Meanwhile, this dude 27 and 11, 28 and 10, 26 and a half and 12. You're like, okay, that's just who he is. So we're not really tripping off that. When in reality, that is hard to do. That's really hard to do.
Listen, the man's the truth. They got to stop hating on the young man. He's arrogant. That's what y'all like. Everything that they talk about that they love about a player, like Draymond Green and Trae Young and them, as far as their character, all of a sudden that don't matter no more because you just want to hate on players. You guys cannot really appreciate greatness. This kid is great. This kid is
100%.
He's my new. I'm fighting for him in SGA. MVP. Now that Embiid is gone, those are the MVPs of the league.
Hey, man, I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about Anthony Edwards. You know how I feel about Anthony Edwards because I think he's gonna be the league MVP too. I do. I think he's gonna win the league MVP soon. I think we're a little bit of ways away, but I think that it's coming. I do.
He just needs a stretch. He needs a week stretch where he goes off or he gives us one of those 50, 60 games. It's probably going to be his.
Not even this season. No, not this season. I'm talking about down the line where it's going to be no question.
The future is his. His and SG is their league.
That's what I'm thinking about. When Steph get his ass and get up out of here, Steph, James, get all of them dudes up out of here.
Did you just say Stephen Curry?
Yeah, get all of them dudes up out of here. Get them.
Come on, man. He's been gone. The Warriors are done with. He's been gone. Don't bring up Stephen Curry. You better off bringing up KD and Russ. shout out to Russ. Peace to Russ. 25,000.
For sure. All right, go. Appreciate you pulling up, fam. We'll catch you next time.
Bang bang Niners gang.
Yes, sir. In the bowl game.
Well, all right, y'all. That will wrap up today's episode of Chill with Chill. We appreciate y'all as always. We love y'all. Thank y'all for showing. Thank y'all for showing up. Chill Town.
Drink water. Put on a suit. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man. When last time you called your mother? Call your mother, man. Call your mother. She's looking for you. Be easy out there. Be easy.
Definitely, yeah.
Take it light, but take it.
Yes, sir. As Chilltown just said, man, love yourself, man. Never drink and drive. Call a cab, call an Uber, call a Lyft, man. Take care of yourself this weekend. We'll catch y'all next time.